Hey, what's up, Elder Scrolls Nation? Skullzi here. And speaking of Elder Scrolls Nation, that's what this video is about. No crazy news or nothing. I'm not gonna go on a rant about multiplayer and then change my mind a whole bunch of times. This video it has a couple purposes. The first purpose is actually explaining what Elder Scrolls Nation is for those of you who don't actually know. And then we're gonna feature a bunch of your comments. I've been getting a lot of comments recently. So the beautiful Sam is going to read the comments to me and I am going to react to them.
Yes, I'm planning on leveling my reading.
Yeah, it's always good leveling your reading. That's a good thing to do. Now, also in this video, I'm going to give you a quick update on the kind of stuff that you can see from this channel in case you don't already know, and maybe tell you a little bit about my plans. Now, let's get into the video. Now, what is Elder Scrolls Nation? That's a good question. I asked myself that question a bunch of times before I tried to start this community, and what it actually is, what our goals should be with Elder Scrolls Nation is to make the strongest, most united community of Elder Scrolls fans. That way Bethesda knows how hardcore Elder Scrolls is loved and followed. That way they never abandon it. They never just try to make it a multiplayer MMORPG and just leave it alone forever and never make another game. They'll always continue to make the game because they know that we love it, and if they don't, we're all just gonna do, I don't know. I feel even bad making a joke here, because if I make a joke with how sensitive everyone is these days, someone will take me seriously. So I'm not even gonna make a joke about how we would all do something together, like some cult thing, whatever. Anyway, Elder Scrolls Nation is something to where we know you can go to anyone from Elder Scrolls Nation and know they're a diehard Elder Scrolls fan. They're not going to give you any bullshit. We're going to share real information with each other. We're going to hashtag Elder Scrolls Nation when we have news, when we want to share fan art, when we want to go take a poop and do some skooma but not want to be alone, so you need your skooma pooping partner. So you hashtag Elder Scrolls Nation for a skooma pooping partner please in your area, and you get one, and then you have... Yes, you have Elder Scrolls Nation pooping partner. Anyway, that's not the point of this. You get the point. So let's move on. Another thing I've seen on the channel in a lot of the comments is people asking about scribing the scrolls, my Elder Scrolls 6 and just Elder Scrolls in general podcast. If you haven't seen it before, here's a link you can click on real quick. There you go. Pretty much we talk about anything Elder Scrolls related. We're all veteran Elder Scrolls players, except Sammantha is new to the series, even though she's familiar with RPGs. So it's a good dynamic. You can learn stuff about the lore, learn stuff about Elder Scrolls, and just get overall tips and stuff about playing the game. But anyway, people have been asking about when we're gonna do a new episode. I've had a couple big projects that I've been working on. Those are done now. And we've had a few scheduling issues, but now we've got everything hammered down with that repair hammer, and we're gonna go for a weekly episode every week. Now, granted, that might not always happen, but 90% of the time it should. So look forward to that. We're gonna actually record the next episode of the podcast tomorrow, the day after I'm recording this. So you can look forward to seeing it this week. So get excited, or I'll yell at you really loud. Anyway, next up that I wanted to talk about is there's going to be a few kind of different things on the channel. As you know, I do Elder Scrolls news. That's not going to change. When I say different things, I mainly am talking about the recent video I did, the Skyrim Survival Guide. While it is informative, giving you information about the creatures and stuff of Skyrim, I try to kind of act out in a stupid way to maybe be funny or maybe be awkward, or both, whatever. But just so you know, you're gonna kind of see some stuff where I try to be a little more entertaining and informative at the same time. Not all my videos will be that way, but just don't think that, you know, I'm gonna stick to one thing. I'm gonna have various different things. And speaking of not sticking to one thing, this channel used to be Mass Effect related for those of you who have followed me since the days of Razor. Mass Effect went through a meat grinder. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm still trying to scrub Mass Effect's corpse off my walls. So we've kind of moved over to the Elder Scrolls. I love Elder Scrolls. No matter what happens to Elder Scrolls, I'm going to keep talking about this damn game. Even if it's just an MMO forever, which it's not going to be. We'll touch on that later. But yeah, I love Elder Scrolls. So yes, you're going to see a lot of Elder Scrolls 6, and maybe even some Elder Scrolls Online content on this channel. But like any gamer, I play other games. So you might see some Dragon Age stuff. You might see some other things. But you can expect a lot of Elder Scrolls stuff and gaming stuff in general. If I do any Let's Plays, that'll be on another channel, so you don't need to worry about that. And I might do some vlogs, but that might also be on another channel. Let me know what you think about those ideas. Would you want to see some vlogs? Would you want to see some just other crazy filmed stuff? Would you want to see some face cam? Would you want to see me doing some skooma poopsies? Let me know in the comments below. And speaking of the comments, I think I've rambled on enough about stuff, so let's get on to the comments.
I think it means then. Why would Bethesda stop the multiplayer mod if they didn't want to add it in a new game?
You know, I could see why you might think this. I could see why you might be like, oh, well, they don't want people to play multiplayer in Elder Scrolls because we want to do that. And you're kind of right, but for the wrong reasons. The reason why they would stop a multiplayer mod or anything like that is because it would make people play the mod, because they want to play that in their single player game, or they don't want to buy another game. And I say buy another game because they want people to play the Elder Scrolls MMO. If people want a multiplayer experience, Bethesda wants you to buy the MMO because A, they get money, and B, you're playing their game. They don't want you to play a mod that Johnny Modding Guitar Boy made, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, good props to him for doing it. That's awesome. But Bethesda would stop it, not because they're gonna make multiplayer their next game, but because they already have a multiplayer game. That's why.
Why did the podcast stop? I love the discussions. I would listen to them while falling asleep. Let me tell you, I had some of the best freaking dreams ever. Alright, that's pretty cool, Bad Pandito.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I think I kind of touched about that earlier in the video. In fact, your comment kind of sparked that entire section of this video. We're gonna really do the podcast. In fact, we have the Elder Scrolls podcast in mind and another project that we're kind of planning, but we're not abandoning Scribing the Scrolls. As I said, we had a couple big projects we were working on, which made scheduling to get all together difficult.
Well, and holidays, and
yeah.
all of us are adults that work full-time jobs, but I have actually acquired some more knowledge, so I feel a little bit more talkative, I hope, in the future. So I'm really looking forward to us keeping the podcast going.
So don't worry, like I said, we're recording another episode this week, so it should be ready by the weekend. So yes, thank you, Bad Pandito. And that's kind of ironic because someone in the podcast, his name is Panda. So cool, good job.
I don't want full-blown multiplayer, but I would want co-op. Skyrim, Oblivion, or Morrowind would be so much fun to play with one or two other friends.
You know, I totally can see that. Oblivion would be awesome to play, but this kind of goes to what I was said earlier. If you want a co-op or any kind of multiplayer experience, you can get that in Elder Scrolls Online. Bethesda wants you to go there for that content because A, you're going to be playing their game, and B, you have to buy it. And C, you have all the chances for the microtransactions and stuff. So,
I definitely agree with the, you have to buy it that way because they would have the capability of maybe making it co-op to where you had somebody else play locally as a follower, even did split screen or something like that. I'm not quite sure, we started playing Elder Scrolls Online, and that's a different experience.
I mean, I'll make another video about that too. It's actually a pretty good game, but I'll touch that in a little bit. But yeah, the co-op version of the game, they want you to go to the thing. And to touch on the earlier comment about the multiplayer mod, people don't even start bitching and say Bethesda stopped the mod because Bethesda is evil and they don't want you to mod their game. They just want you to go fuck yourself with glass. That's not what's happening. Bethesda created what is that thing? The whole entire the thing for people to create mods. I can't remember the name of that thing right now, which makes it look really uninformed, but it's because I never use it. but it's the built-in thing for modders to actually have their games, and they allowed people to sell mods. Bethesda, they're all about the modders, so don't start making some bullshit rumors about how they don't like the mods. They don't want multiplayer mods only because of the MMO. Same thing for co-op, and I wouldn't be surprised if they never put co-op in an Elder Scrolls single-player game because of the MMO, at least not for a while.
Co-op would just take away from single-player experience because they would have to change quests and stuff around to make the game compatible with it.
I actually kind of agree there. I mean, there might be ways where they can seamlessly tie it in, but to be completely honest, even though I like Elder Scrolls Online, there are some points to where I'm feet away, I'm searching a fucking broom closet or something, and people upstairs kill the quest guy, so it counts for my quest. So that takes me out of my immersion because I did not go up those stairs and kill that dude. In my world, my character is down here doing this shit. So how would he get rewarded for having nothing to do with that? So that takes me out of my immersion. So I don't know how they could do that. They would have to actually probably put extra programming, change the dynamic of some of the quests. So yes, I do think that it could take away from the single player experience of the game, and this is one of the main reasons why I've been against multiplayer in the Elder Scrolls single player games. Obviously I can't be against it in the MMO. That game's only about multiplayer. So when I say I'm against it in Elder Scrolls, I'm not talking talking about the MMO. So don't comment and say, well, there's an MMO, brr. I already know about that, obviously. And I know a lot of you are saying you just mentioned the multiplayer. Why are you saying that? Dude, I get comments that would make you just want to pull your hair out and eat it. So I have to be really clear sometimes so people don't comment about something that I literally just said. Anyway.
I have most fun playing an epic story alone. Fuck multiplayer in Elder Scrolls.
I have most fun fucking multiplayer in Elder Scrolls too. I love the single player. I want that epic storyline, and in fact, I think the storyline in Skyrim was less epic than Oblivion. The music was more epic when you absorbed the dragon's soul. All that music just made me made me feel like I was really the Dragonborn. But yeah, anyway. I agree with you, kind of. I do like the MMO, but the MMO has its place. If the MMO affects the single-player games, though, the MMO can go fuck itself with glass. Anyway, next comment.
Watch them come out like Elder Scrolls 6, Nirn, or Tamriel, and it's fucking everything in the mainland. Dude, how insane. I mean, we're talking 4 to 6 years ahead. Advancements in gaming could easily happen, and I specifically remember some interview from around the time that list leaked, that regarded them saying something about how they were waiting for that exactly. What I mean by that exactly is advancements in technology. They said they had too big of an idea for modern consoles, and they wanted to hold it until things moved along.
Oh, holy shit! Fuck biscuits! I actually remember them mentioning something about that. I wish I had the quote to share with you all. But yes, you are correct. Bethesda, I don't remember if it was Todd Howard, Pete Howard, or Todd Hines, who it was, but somebody said that their current plans for Elder Scrolls 6 cannot be met by the current technology standards. Now that might mean that it's all Nirn or all Tamriel, but in my opinion, I doubt it. The reason I doubt it is because console games are usually at best 2 years behind current PC gaming technology, and because of that, if a game developer wants any kind of sales from console gamers, which makes up more than half of sales of all games, they will downscale their game to make it run on consoles. If it wasn't for consoles, games would be at least 10 to 20% more advanced in all forms of advancement words. So yes, I agree, but I also disagree that I think it's going to be all of Tamriel or Nirn. In the best case, it might be 2, maybe 3 different regions, all highly packed with content, as Skyrim and Oblivion and the other ones. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, they're not waiting for the next generation of consoles to come out for Elder Scrolls. But to be honest, I think A, they probably are, and B, it probably would be a good thing. Now, I know I'm gonna get people down there saying, well, they released Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas on the same hardware. No, they fucking didn't. God damn it. Fallout New Vegas was not made by Bethesda. Bethesda allowed the original developers and owners of Fallout to make another game. They oversaw it, but they didn't develop the game. Anyway, next comment.
Keep multiplayer at...
Multiplayer.
Keep multiplayer out of the Elder Scrolls core games.
Now, I don't know who the shitfuck multiplayer is, but if it's some guy that goes around and just put plates on everything, I want him to stay the fuck away from me too. But yes, you know, like I just said, almost on every other comment, you know how I feel about multiplayer in the core Elder Scrolls games. I don't want to repeat myself again. I ramble on too much as it is, so yes. And speaking about rambling, some of you have said that I've pushed some of my videos to over like a certain amount of time, like over 10 minutes on purpose, for ad revenue purposes. First of all, a lot of my videos have been demonetized because YouTube sucks, so it's not all about the money. And second of all, I actually talked out loud to myself and asked Sam, should I push it to 10 minutes, and decided not to. So if any of my videos are at any specific kind of time, I did it on purpose. So don't try and make some shitty comments just to stir up drama because you're bored or whatever. Go eat Nirnroot and take a shit. Next comment.
If it's set in Valenwood, I'm done. Like, Black Marsh would be the one to do. I actually agree with that.
And I actually disagree, and I'll tell you why, and you can explain. Go ahead and explain.
It's difficult. Okay. Well, I just think that the diversity of the environment would be really interesting. But what you have said also about the atmosphere and such, I'm not as knowledgeable in that. So I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, okay, first of all, I want to know, go back and comment on this video, and I'll probably feature it again. I want to know why you'd be done in Valenwood. Valenwood is not all a forest. There's a lot of, like, groves, swamps, hilly areas, hilly plateaus, and plains areas, like from Lord of the Rings, like where the hobbits live. There's a lot of pretty shit in Valenwood. Not only that, there's trees that walk around, that there are cities in. These trees are giant, and the fucking trees walk around, so you have walking tree cities. If that's not interesting to you, I don't know what the hell you think is interesting. And beyond that, there's the whole Green Pact, to where the elves can't use plants, they can only hunt, and they have to be cannibals during war. And then there's so much lore to Valenwood. So while I can respect your opinion, I want to know more about it. I think a Valenwood Elder Scrolls would be cool. And as far as Black Marsh would be cool. Totally interesting. I love the Argonians. I think the setting could be eerie and dark. You're sneaking through the fucking swamp with a bow at night, and with the only light is the fog carrying the light from your torch, and you see zombies just shumbling in the distance. It sounds really awesome, except they can pull it off in Elder Scrolls Online, because Elder Scrolls Online doesn't pay that much attention to the lore. If they have to fuck the lore to make the game happen better for gaming purposes, they will. They don't usually do that in the core Elder Scrolls games, and in core Elder Scrolls lore, Black Marsh is inhospitable to over 90% of all races except for Argonians and little species native to Black Marsh. So if you made any other character other than an Argonian, you couldn't go to 90% of Black Marsh. So for lore purposes, it couldn't happen. And I don't think that Bethesda would fuck the lore so hard in the core game that you could just go all around Black Marsh unless something really crazy happened to make Black Marsh breathable or some shit. I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately.
First, I want to say, even though I'm going to just rant a little bit, I like the video. Akavir is just some place read in a book. It's only like half of the mythology story in Oblivion. Did you forget about all the ancient Akaviri guards you have to fight? There's so much mystery and intrigue associated with that place. It's amazing. I feel like it's even more involved than that, but it's literally been since Skyrim came out that I played Oblivion. I'm saying I'd love a storyline to involve that place ever since I learned about it in the game.
Okay, you know, I agree with you, you're not wrong, but you kinda are, only because, yes, I did definitely say Akavir is something you usually don't read about more than in a book. That's true. I said that because when have you been to Akavir? When have you truly talked to someone from Akavir, except for maybe the dragons or whatever? Usually you do read about it in a book, or you find some artifact about it, or you go on some quest where you see something frozen in ice that has something to do with Akavir, or, you know, the blades were ancient in the Akaviri routines and rituals and stuff, but they're still modern day to Oblivion. You're not in Akavir. I want to go to Akavir. I want to talk to someone from Akavir. I want to explore Akavir, quest in Akavir. That's what I'm talking about when it's Akavir isn't something more than you read in a book. And I know that at one point in Tamriel's history, most of the Empire was ruled by serpents from Akavir, but we don't experience that shit. That's what I'm talking about. You only read it in a book, or in some shit that you find in an old dusty tomb ruin somewhere. That's what I mean. So I'm glad you think you understand how badass Akavir would be. But no, it's still something you mostly read about in a book. Sorry, buddy.
What if they somehow linked your Skyrim to save to Elder Scrolls 6? Like, you finish the game and then you have the option to link it to Elder Scrolls 6, and that character would become Emperor. They could have different reactions, traits, and feelings based on your choices in Skyrim. What do you all think? Please like if you support this idea. I guess I didn't have to read that part.
Well, you can see I liked it. But yeah, dude, that would be totally fucking badass, bonkers, bananas, up your ass cool. However, I don't think they're gonna do it, because usually Bethesda, ever since the way beginning, they've had a canon story for the game. Canon meaning that there is a set race, set choices, etc. that the main character of the game made. Whether or not you made these different choices or played a different character, that's your own personal story that you can metagame. But in Bethesda lore, for instance in Oblivion, it was an Imperial person that won, and they didn't join the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood. In Skyrim, it was a Nord. Usually it's a hero local to the region. So, they probably will always go with this canon thing. I think it's because they have the lore for Elder Scrolls planned out games ahead. Same thing with BioWare. A lot of people do this. And speaking of BioWare, they've been doing your idea for a long time, where you can take your save and import it. Maybe that's where you got the inspiration for this comment. Mass Effect and Dragon Age have been doing this, and it works really well. But you have to remember, they had those things planned from the beginning of those franchises. They had it planned for you to import these saves since the beginning of Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So keep that in mind.
Co-op elsewhere.
Hell yeah, fucking purple bread. I love Elsewhere, I love Khajiit, I love kitties. Co-op and Elsewhere, yes. However, co-op and Elsewhere, do it in your MMO version of the game because I don't think it's gonna happen in the single player version. Now we have a couple more comments to go. If you don't see your comment featured, don't overdose, or especially don't overdouche on skooma. That would be probably worse. Don't do it, because I'm gonna have some honorable mentions at the end of the video. And even if you don't see your comment in the honorable mentions, as you know, in the end of every one of my videos, I always show comments. So your shit's gonna be there somewhere, smeared on the wall. Probably like in some weird Oblivion ritual. Anyway, next comment. Enough talking about shit smeared on walls.
I liked your multiplayer statement, but I didn't like how you said that developers add multiple in-game to get money. From when my view, they added in so that you can play with your friends.
Okay, sorry, we're trying to read your comment as accurately as we can. Check it out. You think that developers are all about the fans. Some are, but they're a business. They have to pay all these people to make these badass games. And as their games get more sales and do better, their developers are gonna want to be paid more. But let me take up EA for instance. They put that shit into the game to make money. There are some developers out there that are all about the money. That's why they give you like all this extra stuff that you can buy for the game. And to be honest, in Elder Scrolls Online, there is no subscription fee. You buy the game and you can play it. If you do subscribe to the premium version of Elder Scrolls Online, you get some perks, some of which are just, you know, like aesthetic stuff, like you can buy houses for cheaper or whatever, but others are game changing. For instance, you get double the bank space. Right there, that kind of gives you a huge incentive for giving them money that you don't have to give them. And they don't do that because they want you to have fun playing with their fucking friends. They do that because they want you to spend money. I mean, that's the thing. They do kind of want to make money. And to be honest, if you think they don't want to make a little bit of money, you're just kidding yourselves, man. I mean, yeah, they care about their fans. Bethesda cares about their fans a lot more than fucking EA does. But yeah, you see my point.
I'm glad someone could make a conclusion to all the rumors in an orderly and sensible fashion.
Sensible.
Sensible fashion. I get tired of seeing videos that pick one spot in a paragraph from some random event and go off of that into a tangent. The interesting and helpful comments at the end were awesome. A good idea. Great video.
Well, you probably like this then, because these are all a bunch of comments. Now, yeah, I thanks for the awesome comment, first of all. I normally don't feature too many of these. You're kind of awesome, thank you. But I featured this one because you say I don't go off on tangents. I have some comments below in other videos that say people say I ramble on too much. So I just want to point out how I get a lot of diverse comments. I'm trying to cater to all your needs, but I have to kind of settle somewhere in the middle. So yeah, don't hate on me too much. I'm trying to do what you guys want. This channel is for you, it's for Elder Scrolls Nation, and I love not only Elder Scrolls, but man, I fucking love building this community. I want to make the strongest community of Elder Scrolls fans out there, because that's how much I love this game, and I'm sure there's many of you who love it as much as I do. We need to band together to make sure this game is never forgotten about, and it's always loved and followed forever. Now, this video is getting too long, so before I get some comments bitching at me saying I'm trying to make it long on purpose, I'm gonna get on to those honorable mentions. So if your comment wasn't here, just hang on, because at the end of the video, I'm gonna feature some more. we're not gonna read them out loud, but I'm just gonna show them to you. Anyway, if you like this video and you want to be part of Elder Scrolls Nation, which I really hope you do, make sure you hit that like button, share this video so people know how loved Elder Scrolls is, and so they can find their home base for Elder Scrolls fans, and make sure that you subscribe so Elder Scrolls Nation never fucking dies. And as always, thank you for watching. Keela Salai, Elder Scrolls Nation.